Alba, please rise for the national anthem of Scotland. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Wales.
Well, unfortunately, there are no fans inside Parc y Scarlets because of the COVID-19 restrictions. But the Football Association of Wales do a terrific job of artificially pumping in crowd noise during the national anthem. And as the teams assemble for their photographs, let's have a look at the lineups for this evening then, and starting with Wales. One change from last month's draw with Denmark. No Kerry Holland because of injury. Carrie Jones of Manchester United takes her place in the side. No place for Hayley Ladd or Megan Wynne despite their returns from injury as well. Other than that, it's pretty strong from Gemma Granger this evening. And on the team that beat Northern Ireland in Belfast last Thursday, only Lee Alexander, Brianne Westrup and Claire Emsley feature for Scotland this evening. A first start for Christy Grimshaw, the Milan forward. The captains, Sophie Ingle and Rachel Corsie, two hugely experienced campaigners involved in the coin toss with referee Louise Thompson there. In the sunshine in West Wales here in Llanelli. And a quick word, in fact, about Sophie Ingle, who will be representing Wales in Tokyo, of course. What an honour for her to be part of the GB team.
Oh, certainly, and great that we've got a representative in the squad. Obviously, two Scottish players as well involved. But a real step of progress since 2012, and great for her to gain that experience to bring back to Wales, as well as playing in a major tournament on that world stage.
The team huddles, and we're about to get underway here I mentioned it's a strong team from Gemma Granger. We're used to seeing that now. All the usual suspects in there, the likes of Fishlock and Kaylee Green and Harrod James, Rhiannon Roberts, Sophie Ingle, of course, who we've already had mentioned. The bedrock, the spine of this team is, well, it picks itself almost.
Yeah, it does, but as you mentioned beforehand, you know, there are quite a few players that are missing. Hayley Ladd, Kerry Holland now, that's new to the squad, Megan Wynne, Lily Woodham. You know, so Wales are really developing some real depth, which is obviously great for us going forward.
Players and staff take a knee as a stand against discrimination, racism in society and in football, of course. We're underway, and it's Scotland who get underway. And what we hope will be a time of celebration for Welsh international football this summer. Gemma Granger's team can play their part in that this evening with a win. And I'm sure Scotland will be saying exactly the same thing. And they will be buoyed by that win against Northern Ireland. Fishlock with the first attempts. Well, she can do it from that distance.
Yeah, good patient play by Wales, just allowing Scotland to have, you know, plenty of possession of the ball. You know, just dropping off into to where they feel comfortable, setting the trap. Then when Kaylee Green puts the pressure across, Jess Fishlock, who's playing just behind her in that number 10 role, reading the play and then driving forward.
Well, unconventional goal kick, and it's Graham. Plays it out to, well, looking for Grimshaw on that far side.
And again, the difference there, you know, if we'd seen the Wales that Wales had set up, the way that Wales has set up to press, we've seen the front three of Kaylee Green, Tasha Harding and Carrie Jones not allowing Scotland to try and play out from back to force them to go longer, which obviously Wales have then won possession of the ball back in a good area of the pitch.
Yeah, that game against Denmark last month, I think, well, you and I both said it after we came off air. It was really, I mean, aside from the fact that it was a really good result, it was a really encouraging performance from Wales with the type of attacking play, with respect to what we've seen before, but the type of attacking play that really gets you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, and you could just see the belief of the players more than anything growing, just having that confidence to be able to get on the ball in dangerous positions higher up the pitch, you know, and showing what they are capable of doing technically.
Corsi. Grimshaw waiting in the middle, and here comes the ball towards Cuthbert. Wales did enough. Gemma Evans did enough. Weir. Scotland, you mentioned, have tournament experience. They qualified for both Euro 2017 and the World Cup in 2019 in France. Draw 3-3 with Argentina in that latter tournament. They didn't progress through to the group stages. Chance for Wales now. Well, it wasn't a bad attempt from Carrie Jones. Put it onto her right foot. She had the option of Kaylee Green, but went for goal.
Yeah, a positive play by the youngster, and I'm really excited, really happy to see her get her first start. You know, she's waited a long time. She's been patient since her first cap when she was 15 years old, and you know, it's really good for her to get a couple of early touches on the ball and show that she's direct as well. You know, take players on, not be afraid of challenging them.
Of course, made the debut against the Faroe Islands in the last qualifying campaign. 17 years of age. The ball goes back to Lee Alexander. Scotland under the temporary tutelage of Stuart McLaren at the moment, after Shelley Kerr left last month after failure to qualify for the European Championships. Something that Wales know all too well. And that is the elusive question, isn't it, for Gemma Granger, or whoever takes on that job and that mantle of the manager of the Wales women's team. Can you get this team to a major finals? Was that campaign which ended in such disappointment with Northern Ireland, who've got a tournament to look forward to. Wales have to put that behind them, and Rachel Rowe is on the ball. Looking for Harding.
Just need to develop a bit of patience, Wales. They just forcing play instead of, you know, there was no actual clear options in front of her. People were running away from Rachel Rowe. So probably the best idea there, just go back, be be patient, build up from the back, get a few more touches on the ball and try and pull the Scottish players out of their positions, because we're seeing already the forwards of Scotland, especially Cuthbert, Little, Emsley, interchange in positions, which is making it difficult for the Welsh players trying to pick them up.
Throw into Scotland, taken by Smith. Right by fourth official Cheryl Foster, who you caught up with before the game.
I did indeed. It's been a long time.
Former Wales international, of course.
Yeah, she's doing really well. Hopefully, and we'll see, you know, Welsh representative, possibly her at the Euros next year in that refereeing role.
Scotland on the break with Weir. Looking for Emsley. Rhiannon Roberts. Not the most convincing of clearances. And it's Scotland on the front foot here. Weir again. And Hannah James doing what she does best. Picking it up, winning possession back, and starting something for Wales. Rowe. Tremendous heat this evening. I'm sure there will be drinks breaks, but that will affect the pace of the game, of course, as well.
Yeah, I think there's 6 substitutions allowed this evening as well, so you know, plenty of options available, you know, if fatigue sets in a little earlier because of the heat.
A ball back with Lee Alexander of Glasgow City. Been a regular in this Scotland team since 2017. Played out in Sweden for a while for Mel Beckons. Clearance from Roberts. Fishlock. Claims of handball. Referee says no. Well, already a fast pace to this game.
Yeah, well, what we've got is two teams playing very similar systems, so you know, adaptation of a 4-3-3 really, with both teams trying to play a 4 in defence with 2 then sitting in front. But one of them will get forward, so it'll be Hannah James getting forward for Wales. 3 in front, and then the lone striker. I think what we see a little bit more with Scotland is, as I've said, and as we've seen already, a little bit more interchanging of positions across the front line, whereas Wales a little bit more reliant on Kayleigh Green to hold, the main striker, to hold possession of the ball up for us.
Emsley's given it away. Here's Fishlock, who scored that tremendous goal against the Danes. It was a well-worked team goal more than anything, but the finish wasn't bad either. Well, Laura O'Sullivan under pressure. And very, very calm. Yeah,
she does fancy herself as a bit of a outfield player, a bit of a Barthez, as I would have put her, for those that are old enough to be used to watch Man United. But no, very composed, and it's good for her to get a few early touches on the ball as well, just to settle her nerves.
This her 43rd cap, Laura O'Sullivan. And a free kick to Wales to be taken by Roberts. Right by where Gemma Granger is standing there. You can see her in shot. She's really embraced the new role. Of course, she spent time with the English FA and has really earned her crust as a coach. And this is her first opportunity at the big time in many ways. And already looking to stamp her authority and her style on this Wales team as it goes back to O'Sullivan. Little. Wales have the sun in their eyes in this first half, but it's a fine surface, known more for rugby, of course, Parker Scarlets, but ideal for players like Fishlock to get on the ball.
Oh, she was unlucky there. Great press, got the right side of her as well. And it was actually, I felt like that was a mistake by Lucy Graham there, a poor touch. So Wales a little unlucky, but again, you see them just happy to sit in their shape, and then they'll set the press, and when one goes, the rest will go then to try and force Scotland into that error.
Just a reminder that this commentary, of this game I should say, available in the Welsh language as well on the Cymru View website. And it's Corsi. And this ball out to Brown. Good pressing from Wales. Carrie Jones putting the pressure on and winning the throw. Well, Gemma Granger very active on the sidelines. I think she's called for energy, called for that high press at times, but allow players like this player Ingle to get on the ball and do her thing.
Yeah, I just think Wales are forcing it a little bit at times. You know, there we've seen Angharad James trying to play a forward, which obviously is great, but you know, in a really tight area. So the ball into Sophie Ingle was, you know, a difficult one for her. She had 3 players then around her. There's nothing wrong with just keeping possession and going side to side till the right moment is on.
That's a nice ball over the top from Josie Green. Decision goes Scotland's way. Yeah, Scotland finished 3rd in their Euro 2022 qualifying group behind Finland and Portugal, so it was a strong group.
It was, but I think for the you know, the calibre of that squad, and the fact that they'd already qualified for the 2017 Euros, 2019 World Cup, pretty sure that they were absolutely distraught that they didn't qualify. They won their first 4 games, ended up losing the last 4 narrowly, and 3 of them by a 1-0 against teams in similar positions to them.
Ball to Weir, who's got the option of putting it into the middle, and it was Rhiannon Roberts who went for safety first, and it's gone out for a corner. A good play from Caroline Weir. Might have been tempted to take on the shot herself.
To be honest, I think if she was on the other side, on her left foot, she probably would have, well, she definitely would have pulled the trigger. And she scored some fantastic goals this season for Man City, but with it being on her right foot, she went for the correct option, pulling it back across goal.
Sullivan rooted to her line as the header from Westrup goes over. In fact, it came off a Welsh player, and it's another corner.
Yeah, it was Angharad James marking her. I think Westrup just headed the ball actually back against Angharad James, but you know, there was 1 or 2 players free at the back post there. So again, Wales on set pieces just need to be a little bit more alert.
And Weir, that sweet left foot of hers. There's a cluster of players she's aiming for here. In it goes towards that back post. Could drop to Emsley. Wales get there first, and it's Kayleigh Green who can lead the charge. Well, Scotland will be hoping for better set pieces than that throughout tonight.
Yeah, I thought that was actually a really good, strong hand by Laura O'Sullivan. You know, that's possibly been one of her weaknesses over the last couple of years, is that aerial position, but she did well there just to get a strong hand at it away to safety.
Corsie. Scotland very adept on the ball. Smith finding Weir again, and Angharad James with the important touch. And Angharad James starting a whole new adventure in her life, of course, out in North Carolina. Wish her all the best with that.
Yeah, she'd only just got out there, I think, and started to settle in before coming back. But you know, a really exciting time, as you say, for her in one of the world's best teams.
Weir. Good set up, Emsley. And the clearance away from Green. Comes out to Smith. James with the interception, and it's the North Carolina player who can start things going for Wales here. Good play from, well, it's out to Fishlock. It was great play from Carrie Jones. Fishlock's free. Got options in the middle. Among them, Kayleigh Green. Scotland struggling to get it away. Harding's header. And an easy one for Lee Alexander in the end, but good break from Wales.
Yeah, good play in the middle there, originally by Angharad James, and then great feat by Carrie Jones, the youngster. She's had a tremendous start this opening 15 minutes, and a good pass into Fishlock, and then, oh, Fishlock, the delivery in fantastic into a really hard area, but the experience then of Rachel Corsie, the captain of Scotland, you know, opening her body up. She could see the run from Kayleigh Green, but she could also see the ball. She didn't maybe get as much on that header as she would have liked, but Wales were just lacking a bit of ruthlessness then, with Natasha Harding with that header.
Cap number 123 for Jess Fishlock. Really is astonishing, and no signs of slowing down when you see her in that kind of free roll.
Yeah, especially when you consider the distance that she actually travels to come back, you know, for the games. To have racked up that amount of caps, having been playing in America now for 10 years, is fantastic.
Yeah, we mentioned Anhara James going to North Carolina. It's a life experience as well as playing top-class international, top-class club football, and it's something that she's looking forward to embracing, certainly.
Yeah, and testing herself against the very best, even up in training. When you're coming up against the likes of one of the best players in the world, Sam Mewis, who's just moved back from Manchester City. She's only going to learn and develop in that intensity, in that environment, and also the climate as well. I think that'll do wonders for her fitness.
Ball back to Alexander. Well, Scotland happy to knock it around at the back. Wales doing a lot of chasing at the moment, but just waiting for the first real breakthrough, the first moment of quality in this game.
Yeah, Wales' shape is good at the minute. You see when we're defending, we've got 2 backs of 4, making it difficult, especially the midfield 2 of Anhara James, Sophie Ingle, just trying to protect the defence and tracking the runs of Caroline Weir and Kim Little, who are trying to pick up really difficult positions either side of them, and dragging them out to create space then for someone like Erin Cuthbert to drop into.
Ball over to Brown. He's got Corsie in support. Fishlock closing down, and you can see that press and the effect of that press, and Wales are on their way. Fishlock, well, it was Sophie Ingle who put the foot in. Wales still have possession here, so they might get another chance at it. That high press could pay off for Rachel Rowe here. Rowe against Brown. Is there a delivery? In towards Harding, falls to Fishlock, comes out to James. Good save. Strong hands from Alexander, and Anhara James just tried to tuck it in the corner there.
That's a good save from Alexander, especially considering that she's actually got the sun in her eyes as well, so would have been difficult for her, but I think it was probably just at the right height for her as she's going across. Great ball in by Carrie Jones. As I said, she's had a good start, put it into a good area, and then Anhara James alive to the rebound. Good technique to keep it down as well, keeping her body over the ball.
A strong half volley, and it was left by Fishlock for James. Here comes the corner in towards Gemma Evans, who is steaming in there. Falls out to Ingle. We know what she can do from this distance. James back out to Rowe. And Scotland under a bit of pressure here. Carrie Jones to James. Out to Rowe. Straight into the hands of Alexander, but certainly a positive series of moves from Wales. And, well, Kelly Green has gone down here. We hope that it's nothing too serious, maybe a bit of cramp. She's ushering on the medical staff, though.
I'd be surprised if it's cramped this early in the game, if I'm honest. Yeah, she was waving across, so it looks like a possible problem with her ankle, the way she's holding her leg. But going back, that was a good half chance there for Wales, I'd say. Hard to anticipate what was on Rachel Rowe's mind, whether she's trying to clip to the back post and just didn't quite connect with it, or if she was going for goal. But I think it was quite easy for Leah Alexander, especially with her experience in the end. But little glimpses again of that one-touch, two-touch play, which we saw against Denmark. Wales having a little bit more belief in themselves in those attacking areas now under Gemma Granger.
Well, we thought for a moment that Anhara James would be celebrating her 3rd goal in a Welsh shirt. Certainly hit it well. The goalkeeper of Alexander's quality.
She did say before the game that she was due a goal, and it's coming soon, so I think it's been quite a while since her last one. It's been years, so hopefully the next shot she goes will ripple the back of the net.
Kaylee Green is hobbling a little bit, but the positive thing is she is walking off the pitch. It's not as if she's had to have assistance, but you talk about someone who's just got that battling spirit, and we say it all the time in commentary. If you had to sort of define a 100%er, if you know what I mean, in football, and Kaylee Green is certainly that. She's got quality, of course, but
yeah, she leads from the front, doesn't she? Obviously, if she holds the ball up well, she wins free kicks in good areas, which gets us higher up the pitch then to the territory. But also, she starts the the defensive work for us. She constantly putting a shift in, not giving the centre halves a moment of peace, and putting them under pressure, forcing them into errors, which again will help Wales win possession of the ball back in a better area.
Well, Scotland forced back to captain Rachel Corsie of Kansas City.
Yeah, you can just see again the two defensive lines, two banks of four by Wales, nice and organised, tidy, because actually in the last two games, something which, under Jane Ludlow, Wales were outstanding defensively, but we just conceded two really sloppy goals in the last two games.
And the break is on for Scotland. It was the through ball from Cuthbert, far too close to O'Sullivan. The run from Grimshaw was a dangerous one.
Great vision by Cuthbert. There's no doubt in her quality. She's only young, I think she's 22 years old, and she's amassed quite a few caps already. I remember that goal that she scored actually at Hampden Park before the World Cup. It was an outstanding goal from about 35 yards. But great vision there, but just a little bit too much pace on the pass.
And currently playing for Chelsea, Emsley with a loose pass, and that's good play from Carrie Jones. Needs support and has it in Harding. Well, Jones continued the run. And just comes off Harding's shin and out for a Scottish throw. Some positive play from the youngster so far.
Yeah, she was doing her defensive work well there, so you could see her in her shape and just putting pressure on, won the ball back, and then great feet again. She's got the ability to go with her right or with her left, and she's definitely taken her chance in this opening 20 minutes so far.
Smith's throw. Header won by Roberts. Ingle brings it down. Weir for Scotland. It's a bit scrappy at the moment, needs a bit of quality, and that is quality from Weir. Smith looking for the run of Emsley. Wales defensively up to the task.
A little bit of a lack of communication there. You've seen Laura Sullivan come, then she stopped, came again, and then stopped again. So, this is a new look back line for Wales, especially with Gemma Evans coming into that centre half role. Josie Green, who's an out-and-out midfielder. That's where she plays for her club, Spurs. They're just getting used to that. The partnership between the three of them really. Just need to be a little bit better in the communication, but in the build-up to that play by Caroline Weir, she makes the game look so easy. She makes that little drag back look so easy, and it's definitely not, especially when you're under pressure and with the pace of the pass into her.
Plays for Manchester City. The 25-year-old former Arsenal, Bristol City, Liverpool player is Rachel Rowe of Reading. And you can see what she was trying to do. Nice little dink into the box. She is a hive of activity on that left-hand side, Rachel Rowe.
Yeah, and she's the same. She drives forward, plenty of energy, but she can cut in on her right, go down her left. Just seen that they're just again a miscommunication with both Green and Fishlock wanting the ball to feet, as she was looking just to stretch the defence in. And if Kaylee Green maybe had made the run in behind, that maybe would have opened up the opportunity in the space for Fishlock in that little gap between the midfield and defence.
Well, Kelly Green wants to take the throw in quickly here. Here's Ingle. Back to Green, drives it across looking for Harding. Well, Harding was the obvious target on that back post. Perhaps too much pace on the cross. Wales not adverse and not afraid to mix things up. Long balls as well as the nice crisp short passing.
Yeah, and again you just see that high press from Wales. They're switching then to put a front three to force Scotland now to go long, and hopefully Wales will feel comfortable winning that first ball.
Well, it's non-stop football action on the BBC this summer, and of course the big game for the men, Scottish men that is, this Friday, England-Scotland at Wembley. Doesn't really get much bigger than that. Wales, for Robert Page's team, it's all about Turkey tomorrow. And I'm sure they'll be casting an eye on how Wales do here. Ball back to Weir. Smith. Well, Wales working hard off the ball. There's Green doing the chasing here, and it's putting pressure on Scotland, making sure that they make those mistakes, pressurising them into them.
Yeah, there's a good intensity to Wales's play when they're pressing, and what they're trying to do is ensure that they're going, in packs as well. So if one's putting pressure on the one side, as we've seen there, Angharad James putting pressure on the one side, Sophie Ingle then, the partner in midfield, is coming in from the other side, so they've got, Scotland's players got no room.
And the foul against Green. She's not happy about the decision. It was a late one, nothing more than that. Kelly Green winning her 52nd cap this evening. Scorer of 11 goals for Wales, some really important ones as well over the years, the Brighton striker. So we've got to get on the ball here, and that's good play from Jones. Ingle. Now Gemma Granger won't mind that, just keeping that possession. And in terms of chances, you have to say it's the Scottish goal that's been threatened a little bit more in this game so far. And Angharad James's shot, a few sort of pot shots from in and around the penalty area, and there could be another one here for Green to chase. Well, there's a collision between Alexander and Kaylee Green. Well, it was Green who got the worst of that particular 50-50, and you don't normally see that.
Well, look, you mentioned before, didn't you, about the tenacity of Kaylee Green. In that situation, when she's got a right to go for the ball, she's not going to pull out. She possibly was a little bit late, in my opinion, but it's worth going in for those challenges.
Weir tackled by Ingle. Scotland still have it with Cuthbert.
Yeah, and just going back to the point I made earlier there, with Weir, Angharad James forcing pressure on the one side, Sophie Ingle ensuring that the distance between her and Angharad James isn't too far, so that she can put pressure on if Caroline Weir, as she has got the technical ability, to turn out of Angharad James's problem. Good work by those central midfield partnership.
Good interception from Harding. Another one of the Reading contingent in this Wales team. There's a fair few of them. Never mind the Spurs Mafia, I think it's the Reading Mafia. Play from Cuthbert. It's got room. And she spotted Brown. Cuts inside, looks for Cuthbert again. But it's just very hard for Scotland to try and break through this Welsh defence. Can Weir do that now? Just two banks of red shirts, and Scotland struggling to get through. Brown to Grimshaw. That's good play. The two right-sided players, and Brown wins her team a corner. You have to give credit, Scotland showing great invention down that right wing.
Yeah, and patient play as well, not forced in the pass, even on the edge of the box. When nothing was on, happy to go sideways, happy to go backwards, start again, and just draw the Wales players out, as we saw with Rachel Rowe coming in, and then Carrie Jones on that left side, and a good run by Fiona Brown in behind.
Well, it's the left foot of Weir, so it will be an in-swinger. It's a cluster of players you can see on the penalty spot there. Chaotic penalty box. Cuthbert's gone short. And that's the decoy. Gemma Evans just did enough to get it away. It's another corner. Well, we will be hoping for a better delivery perhaps this time around. It didn't beat the first player. It's the short corner, Little. Weir again. Fishlock trying to stay with Little. Scotland trying to get that cross in, and there is the offside flag. Wales rewarded for their defensive organisation there.
Yeah.
But Scotland will be very disappointed.
Yeah, they will, especially as Kim Little can see across the line there. But again, good organisation and discipline actually by the Welsh defence, especially Jess Fisher, who's the player closing down. But surprised to see Scotland go short. I know maybe the one or two deliveries haven't been so great, but they have got a height advantage over Wales, especially with their centre halves, Rachel Corsie, Brianna Westrup. So it's a bit of a surprise to see them go short.
You can see the players just trying to block the sun from their eyes as O'Sullivan launched it. Proper West Wales weather this in the summer.
Well, they say West is best. No, the pitch is in great shape.
Looks great, doesn't it? And it was well watered, really conducive to the type of play that Gemma Granger wants to encourage for Wales. Here's Fishlock.
I know I said it in the last game, but it's just so good to see a midfield three of James, Ingle and Fishlock, and just seeing them be able to interchange positions at times, but link up and having the opportunity to do that, being the freedom to do that.
Little to Grimshaw for Cuthbert header. Not a bad attempt. Had to manoeuvre in the air her body position to kind of create the power on the header.
Yeah, the ball was a little bit behind her, so it made it difficult. That's a really hard skill then to try and direct that back across goal, because as you said, she needed to generate the power. But you know, ideally you want a ball when you're attacking play there, you want a ball in front of you so that you can guide it back across the way it's come from. A lot easier to do than to, as you said, try and generate the power going across goal.
Josie Green. Well, O'Sullivan under pressure. That was needless pressure there from Gemma Evans, but dealt with it. And in the last 5-10 minutes or so, we've really started to see a little bit more quality from Scotland. It's been a period of pressure for the Wales defence. Of course, the bigger picture is that it's all about the World Cup qualifying campaign, Gwenan, which gets underway in September, of course, and for Wales, that's a game against Kazakhstan at home, September the 17th.
Yeah, really pleasing to see. And the first few games, I think it's the first two games are against the lower ranked opposition, which just gives you an opportunity. Then you should be winning those games, gives you an opportunity to get points on the board, but build momentum, as we've seen for the World Cup 2019 World Cup qualifiers, when Wales took it to the very last game against England because of the momentum they generated going through. And I think Scotland actually have got similar. I think they're starting off
closing down from Harding, and it is a goal kick. Yes, Scotland start against Hungary away, and then it's the Faroe Islands at home in their first two games. Wales have Kazakhstan and Estonia, as you say. And we have said in the past, haven't we, that if you play the top seeds in the first few games, it can almost kill your campaign before it's even begun. Yeah,
again, going back to that about momentum, getting those points on the board and building the momentum, and as we've seen as well, building and generating the interest and the support which we had from the unsuccessful 2019 World Cup, because we didn't reach it, but I'd call it a success on and off the pitch with coming second in the group and beating Russia for that second place position, considering that they were in the European Championships just before that.
And of course there's more places to play for this time around. 11 European spots in the World Cup, maybe 12, 11 definitely. There could be as many as 12 with an intercontinental playoff as well. You have to be in the top two in your group to be in with a shout, though. It's Wales grouped with France and Slovenia, Greece, as well as Kazakhstan and Estonia. Scotland play the likes of Ukraine and Spain, as well as Hungary and the Faroe Islands. Little. The option of Weir, and Smith is free if she can spot it. Cuts back though to Little, and again we see that organisation from Wales, almost inviting Scotland to try and breach this defence. And the cross does come in towards Grimshaw. Wales hold firm again.
Yeah, Wales will be happy with that, you know, just staying in those bags of four, making it difficult, really reducing the gaps and the areas for people like Cuthbert and Little to play in, and then good defending by Josie Green in the end.
Good tackle from Carrie Jones. It is a corner at this late stage in the first half. Scotland have had many set pieces, many corners already in this first period. But they'll be hoping to make Wales pay on this occasion. The deliveries haven't been the best, but Weir is certainly capable. Get to half-time at 0-0, I think Gemma Granger would be happy with that. Weir whips it in, hit with pace. Cuthbert couldn't get on the end of it, could fall to Little. Still going. A tremendous run. And the delivery in the end was an awkward one to just try and get the ball back into the Wales penalty area.
Yeah, I think it was stuck under her feet. She just couldn't quite dig it out. But what you don't want to see as a Welsh supporter or as a Welsh player, staff member, is seeing Kim Little attack that second ball like that. Because as we've seen, you know, she has the ability to jinx through such tight spaces. So Wales actually did well to guide her out wide there.
She's the vice captain, Arsenal player. Roberts battling for it. Fishlock helping out. Fishlock winning it. Just the ball stuck under her feet there. Well, Wales haven't had it all their own way in this last 10-15 minutes. Westrup did have that header on that back post. That's about as close as she's come, and probably about as close as Scotland have come. They've been the odd half chance, but what can they do here? Smith has beaten Roberts for pace, it seems. First time delivery in towards that penalty area, and it was Emsley. Again, an awkward header for her to take on.
Yeah, it was, but I think the hesitancy of Rhiannon Roberts to start with opened that up. So then obviously Kirsty Smith come in and cut back in on her favoured right foot. A good cross, but we've seen the run from Emsley actually across Josie Green is what helps her to get to that ball first. But yeah, ideally, you know, again, as a forward attacking it, you want to be attacking a ball that's in front of you, not coming directly at you. But Wales, you know, in that position, Josie Green in that defensive position just needs to use her body a little bit better to make it difficult for Emsley.
Well, Harding's got room here. And the chip pass eventually makes its way to Fishlock. What will Gemma Granger, I wonder, make of what she's seen so far? That's a nice pass from James, offside flag. Yeah, what will Gemma, do you think, say to those players in the dressing room?
I think she'd be pleased, you know, especially defensively, because as I mentioned, in the last two games we did concede some really poor goals, direct goals as well. So we've been a lot better, a lot tighter, really restricted. And as I said, Weir, Cuthbert, Kim Little, the danger players for Scotland, restricted the space that they've been able to pick the ball in dangerous areas. And then have shown a few glimpses, but again, like, this is where Wales need to improve now if we are to reach a major tournament, is, you know, that ability, that ruthlessness in the final third, being able to take your chances and just show a little bit more composure.
Roberts committed and has got the width of Harding to use here. Oh, it was just a delayed pass. Did ever so well, Rhiannon Roberts, to win the ball in the first place. Harding has won it back. Wales looking for that final delivery, and it comes from James towards Green. Not quite a free header, but certainly felt that she could have done better there, perhaps.
Oh, superb ball in by Angharad James. The pace on the cross, you know, a good layoff as well by Tasha. And I think, you know, when you're in those positions, I think people tend to forget the importance of that pass, that set off. There was a good pace on it, kept on the floor, so it was easy for Angharad James to whip in. And Kaylee Green just trying to guide that back across, couldn't quite use the pace on the cross. She'd be disappointed. She probably would have been better off going, as we always say, go back across goal. That's an easier skill to make.
There was certainly good vision from James. Rowe with the throw. Gemma Evans. Closed down by Cuthbert. Yeah, it all starts on September the 17th for Wales, and of course this is all geared towards that. And a World Cup finals in New Zealand and Australia promises to be a wonderful showpiece event for women's football in two nations that sort of have some of the highest quality play in the women's game.
Yeah, especially with the added teams now that are in it, so it's giving some European teams better opportunities to qualify.
Green spots Fishlock just behind her.
And this is what we were saying about, isn't it? You know, that quality, that ruthlessness in the final third, the decision making in the final third. And she actually had the time and the space to keep carrying forward, but looking for the run of Fishlock instead.
Cuthbert on the move. She's got Weir. And Scotland again with Graham this time. We haven't mentioned an awful lot in commentary so far, but another one of those players very adept on the ball. James brings it down. And all the way back to O'Sullivan, who hasn't been troubled so far. And there we see a bit of the old foot skills from the Wales goalkeeper again.
Yeah, she's enjoying herself so far. She's putting my blood pressure up a little bit, but she's looking quite comfortable, to be fair.
Well, you want your keepers confident.
Yeah, and to be able to play out from the back as well, to be confident enough to do that, which obviously gives an added bonus then, so Wales can look to do that, and this is something that they have developed, instead of trying to hit long as we've done it in many years, and a lot of previous managers hit long and just try and win that second ball higher up the pitch. Wales are now trying to open up from the back where possible, and with putting Sophie Ingle, stepping her into midfield, that also helps them, because she will normally take that role as the deep liar just in front of the midfield, trying to get her on the ball and her spraying passes left, right and centre.
Josie Green under pressure here from Cuthbert. That's a lovely long ball though to Harding. Good interchange between her and Green. But the experience of Westrup there. Sees the ball released to Weir. Good closing down from James, and Wales just want one last chance before going into the break. Free kick Scotland.
Yeah, didn't need to go in for that, Josie Green. You know, there's plenty of players around. She dropped so deep into the midfield. I think Sophie Ingle was close by, Angharad James. They could have dealt with that. So just an unnecessary foul to give away there.
Rachel Coursey. This her 123rd cap. Magnificent servant of Scottish football. Play from Cuthbert. And a few groans as well. Fishlock penalised there, I have to say, and I think that was a bit harsh.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, we obviously haven't got the replays here. It sounded like it literally ruptured into her chest, but the referee's given a free kick for handball instead.
I don't think Jess need too much about that, but on we go. Cuthbert. And they won't be happy, Wales, if Scotland can take advantage here. Little is being hassled by Ingle there. And in fact, the fourth official, Cheryl Foster, has received a word or two from Gemma Granger. Just clarification, possibly. Here's Weir to Cuthbert. It's opened up. Oh, it's hit the bar. What's the decision? And it could come out to Little, and it goes wide. It obviously didn't cross the line, but it was mightily close.
It was indeed a great strike, but great original play by Caroline Weir, again drawing in players and beating that first player easily, so sucking across then, drawing across the next Welsh player, which released Cuthbert in space. You know, everybody knows, as I said, I mentioned earlier, that goal at Hampden Park, I think it was about 35 yards out. You know, when she gets opportunity, she can strike a ball, and Wales are really lucky to get away with it, especially just before half-time, which would be a bad time to concede a goal.
Yeah, it was a quality strike from Erin Cuthbert, and certainly the best piece of skill that we've seen in this first half, certainly the best chance. but it remains 0-0.
It all came back to that actual fishlock free kick, and Wales were, you know, moaning about the decision instead of, you know, you have to play the whistle, just get on with it. And that's where we've seen a couple of Wales players out of shape, and Cuthbert picked the ball up originally, again where she wants to be, in between the defensive and the midfield lines, and was able to turn quickly.
It's a corner for Scotland as we await the added time board from the fourth official. We're about to take this for the visitors. More of a floated delivery. O'Sullivan has committed, great catch. And a minute of added time to go, and Laura O'Sullivan has really taken the pressure off.
A minimum of 1 minute of time added on.
And look to find Kayleigh Green.
Yeah, she has, but there, for me, with 1 minute left on the clock, when you've just been under a fair bit of pressure, they've hit the bar. Just take your time. Just allow Wales to get up, allow the players to get up, so that you can, you know, bite some time off the clock, and then have players further forward to try and win the second ball.
You get the feeling that Wales want this half-time whistle more than Scotland at the moment. There's a spring in their step. Grimshaw goes out for a throw, and Wales will look to slow it down. Well, we've seen glimpses from Wales in this first half. Glimpses of good play. We had a good effort that we saw from Anhara James. But really, Scotland with the best chance of all, that shot from Cuthbert, which off the underside of the bar. Could there be one last chance? Nope, that is the half-time whistle. Well, we're still awaiting the first goal. We have seen moments of quality, but the moment of quality, I think, Gwenan, was that effort from Erin Cuthbert. Yeah, right at the end. Wales have done really well to restrict the spaces for her, Caroline Weir, to work in, but as we've seen the quality of those technical players, when they had the opportunity, they very nearly made Wales pay, and Wales have got the crossbar to thank for not going in a goal down. Well, in this searing heat in Llanelli, it's Wales 0, Scotland 0 at half-time. Second half commentary to come. to Parker Scarlets, where it is international football commentary that we're bringing you here on BBC Sport Online. Wales 0, Scotland 0. And here come the teams for the second half. There doesn't appear to be an indication of any changes for this second half. As Gwennan Harris pointed out in the first half, coaches can make as many as 6 this evening. And as the sun goes down, we're hoping for goals in this second half as well.
Yes, certainly hoping for some goals, just to liven it up a little bit more. I think it's been quite a competitive game. We're hoping Wales can be a little bit more on the front foot in the second half.
And Harry James standing over the ball as Wales will get things underway for this second period. You can hear the chant from the Scottish bench. No fans inside Parker Scarlets this evening, unfortunately. And hopefully, sooner rather than later, the Red Wall will be back cheering on the women's team.
No fans, but lovely to see close to 200 family and friends allowed in. So there's a little bit of a crowd here.
Rachel Rowe has missed out here to Grimshaw, who's shown great perseverance. So Sullivan has spilt it. Dangerous for Wales this. Here's Weir. Little. Well, Wales can regroup a bit there. In fairness to Laura Sullivan, she had to come and collect that, but it was always going to be difficult. And it's Corsie on the ball, and Scotland, in this opening minute or so, starting as they finished the first half, it seems.
Yeah, and your boys, when you get a half opportunity like that right at the start of half, just increases your confidence, a positive mentality to try things. But as you said previously, Laura Sullivan did well actually to come out and get a touch and force. I think it was Cuthbert to go around her, or to attempt to go around her.
Just clawed it away. And it's O'Sullivan now with this goal kick. The sun in her eyes. Beautiful evening in West Wales, in Llanelli. And we await the first goal. Little. So real class there to make the room for her. And the ball now with Brown. It's a considerably changed Scottish team for anyone who has just joined the coverage. A changed Scottish team really from the team that beat Northern Ireland last Thursday in Belfast. Only Lee Alexander, Brianne Westrup and Claire Emsley remained from that game.
Yeah, I think that's a compliment to Wales, if I'm honest. You know, the big guns, Corsie, Little, Weir, Cuthbert have all come back in. But you've got to remember with Scotland, well, they've actually got some good starters. BT, Lise Evans, Emma Mitchell out as well, so they're a little bit under strength.
Grimshaw to tease it across. O'Sullivan got the double-fisted punch on it. Danger still not away. Could fall to Cuthberts. And eventually, Wales had to scramble it away through Josie Green.
Yeah, promising start to the second half by Scotland. You know, maintaining that pressure as well, which is hard. Then, you know, if you're defending and you get wave upon wave upon wave of attack, it's difficult to keep that concentration level, those energy levels. But Wales need to be better, just a little bit more alert. We look like we're still back in the changing rooms, a little bit sleepy.
And it's Weir again with another in-swinger. It is a packed 6-yard box. And O'Sullivan is surrounded here. Wales get a strong header away. Green completes the clearance. Kayleigh Green, that is. And Wales can regroup again, but Scotland have beaten the offside trap, have they? They looked for the flag, Wales. It never came for Grimshaw. Towards that back post, and it was headed away by Rowe. Wales under the cosh here. And there's been relentless attacking from Scotland as Graham now has it. Crossing towards Cuthberts. And the eventual ball high and wide. And that will do for Laura O'Sullivan.
Yeah, you could see Gemma Evans as well, just having a word, telling people to calm down. You know, twice there we had the opportunity to clear our lines, just get everybody higher up the pitch, just relieve that pressure, but trying to play silly 5-yard passes in a dangerous and square passes in a dangerous area, which actually from experienced players in the Welsh team as well.
Gemma Evans to Ingle, who's the personification of calm, and it's O'Sullivan with those silky skills again. O'Sullivan getting out of her area there, did well, and that has started a useful move for Wales. We talk about sweeper keepers these days. Keepers have to be as adept on the floor as they are with their gloves.
Oh, my blood pressure's not going to be able to cope if she keeps running out like this. She's certainly enjoying herself.
Yeah, don't want to try it too often. And Emsley has done well with that cross. Again, it was far too close to O'Sullivan, but Emsley has been a real threat on that left-hand side.
She has. You know, as a former winger, it's lovely when you pick up the ball in a position of a one-on-one when you've got space in front of you. But what I would say is Rhiannon Roberts is making it a little bit too easy at the moment. She's backing away, she's jockeying away, trying to show, in fairness to her, trying to show Emsley onto her left foot, but she's backing away too late and too deep. She's giving her too much space to run into.
Carrie Jones has got it from Fishlock's ball. Rowe has made the run. Jones goes it alone. And she's won the corner, has she? Oh, it's a goal kick. Did come off Carrie Jones. Real shame that Fishlock had put the through ball in.
Yeah, you could just see she's just caught in two minds. I think she was about to cross it, but could see the two players, and then, you know, got caught with the ball under her feet. Probably the first mistake that she's actually done in this game, to be fair to the youngster.
Corsi, Brown. That's good play from Scotland up toward. Well, it's good tackle from Rachel Rowe. Continues her run down that channel.
She gets herself out of tight areas, doesn't she, Rachel Rowe? You know, she's comfortable to go with either foot, and we've seen there really strong, winning a one-on-one battle, regaining possession of the ball for Wales, and then just the inventiveness of trying to clip the ball over.
Yeah, such a great character in the team as well. Bubbly girl who has shown great skill here on the ball, and she's put through Kayleigh Green. And it's out for a corner. I always go back to that goal she scored out in Belarus. I was lucky to be out there, and it was the biggest smile I think I've ever seen on the face of a player. Her first goal for Wales, her only goal for Wales, and she's about to take this corner. At the time it was her only goal for Wales. She has scored one since then. Here comes the corner. Decent delivery. Well, it was hit with pace, and that could have gone anywhere.
Oh, it was a great delivery with the pace on that. You know, all you need then is a slight touch if you're attacking it. With someone like Rhiannon Roberts, you know, who you want on the end of that, or Sophie Ingle, could have gone anywhere.
There's the temptation of a long throw here for Rhiannon Roberts. Trying to find Kayleigh Green. Fall to Ingle. James. It's opened up for Rowe. It's worth a shot. Back to James. Well, the interlinking between James and Fishlock and Rowe, it was almost like Russia all over again there, but no final product.
Yeah, lovely one-touch football around the box, and that's difficult to defend against. Just a pity that we didn't have the two last players involved the other way around, so James you know, laying that off to Fishlock, because she certainly would have been confident enough to hit that with her left foot.
This game brought to you in the Welsh language as well on BBC Cymru View. As Anhara James, a proud Welsh speaker herself, picks up the ball. James has continued her run, and so too has Tash Harding. James gets there first. Didn't do enough to beat Smith, the fullback. Wales, best period of the second half for them so far after a good Scottish start. Roberts to Ingle. Great vision. Superb pass to Carrie Jones. Here's Rowe. In towards Green. Follow up from Harding. best move from a Welsh point of view so far, perhaps?
Certainly the best move, and correct decisions. That's what we want to see in this final third. Great ball by Sophie Ingle. Superb first touch by Kai Jones, allowing her to open up her body, and then using the run of Rachel Rowe. But Tash Harding then just on the end of it, just couldn't get her body over the ball to direct it down, instead leaning back, and that's why we've seen it go high over the bar.
I think Rachel McLaughlin is about to come on for Scotland, so the first change of the evening, and it will be by the visitors. Good run this from Emsley. Ball goes out. Wales have the throw. Do you always enjoy playing against the home nations, Gwenan?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we had some good games actually against Scotland, and my last game for Wales, which I actually didn't realise at the time because I didn't realise the knee injury that was going to come in front of me, was here against Scotland in a group game. We lost 2-1. They were always tight games, but I think both teams both nations have certainly improved and come a long way since then. That was back in 2012, which was a long while ago.
It always has that competitive edge, doesn't it? A Wales, Scotland, or an England.
Yeah, I think there's a big rivalry there, but a friendly rivalry as well, because of the Celtic nations. The same, Welsh players are wishing the Northern Ireland players well, even though they beat us to that position in the Euros.
Here's Little. Lovely ball with the outside of a boot. Out towards Smith. It's a cross into the middle, looking for Cuthbert. No messing with the clearance from Gemma Evans. Scotland about to make this change. Before that, it's a high ball, which Smith will try and get the end of. She's done well to keep it in play. And the final cross didn't reach Cuthbert, only Carrie Jones. James. She's seen the run of Harding. Ingle. Lovely one-touch play between her and Kaylee Green. Harding, this time on the left-hand side. Harding will try it. Aiming for that top corner. You can see what she was trying to do, opened her body out. And here comes the first change. And it's Christy Grimshaw, the Milan winger, on her first start, being replaced. And Rachel McLaughlin of Rangers winning her 10th cap, formerly of Aberdeen, Hibs, Yeovil. And big fist pumps for Grimshaw there from the Scottish coaching staff. We certainly saw glimpses of what she could do.
Yeah, we just see a positional change here, so McLaughlin will come in and play it right back, pushing Fiona Brown further forward then to the space vacated by Grimshaw on the right wing.
And Brown in that forward position has found Little. Good tackle from Evans, needed to be strong. Identified in that first half by Hugh Gwenan of just how adept she can be when she's got space. Kim Little.
Oh, she is one of the most talented players on the planet. On her day, she can unlock any defence. I think Wales did well there, because you could see Emsley was trying to make the run from out to in, like Tash Harding had made a minute earlier, but they stepped up just at the right moment.
Good skill from Weir. Here's Westrup. Ingle for Wales. Can she spot the run of Carrie Jones, who had made the early run? Ingle opted to just keep possession instead, and there's O'Sullivan again. O'Sullivan's mistake. Oh, and Scotland score. It's Cuthbert who puts it in for the easiest of finishes, and Laura O'Sullivan will hold her head in her hands. Well, she's tried that an awful lot this evening, but one too many times.
Yeah, certainly one too many, and as I said, previously, you've got to be careful when you're playing out from the back, because players will identify which way you want to go, and you could see that she was never going to open her body up there. So, tried a clever little chip over. You can't do that in that position as a goalkeeper. You just need to make sure that you clear your lines. There's no messing, because you are the last line. You make that mistake and it results in a goal, as we've seen, a really poor goal after all the hard work and defensive discipline in that first half.
Well, we made light of it at many times during this commentary, of her just taking that extra touch, but there's nothing wrong with Rose Ed if you're a goalkeeper. Nothing wrong at all. And Scotland have been gifted a goal, let's be honest. Well, Erin Cuthbert with the easiest of finishes, her 16th goal for her country. And Wales now have to come from behind. Good play from James. Ingle, it's worth the shot. Tried the chip. Graham with the clearance away for Scotland.
Well, a good response by Wales, at least, you know, higher up the pitch.
And Scotland on the break with a spring in their step now. Weir spotted the run of Smith on that far side. Well, the case now for O'Sullivan to put that mistake behind her. Can't let it afford to affect the confidence. O'Sullivan has come out again, and it was almost 2-0. You do worry about her confidence at the moment.
Yeah, poor decision making there. You can see that area of the pitch is just still in the sun, it's covered by the sun, so you can see it's difficult for her. But again, when you make that decision as a goalkeeper, you have to be brave and 100% clear in your thought of what you're doing. You can't afford to back out.
Well, O'Sullivan with a goal kick on this occasion, pushed by Fishlock. The two number 10s locking horns there. Well, Laura Sullivan's been such an important figure for Jane Ludlow in those campaigns of hers. Did, of course, have that unfortunate moment against Northern Ireland, which proved to be a pivotal moment in qualifying. Let's make no bones about that. But error today has been costly. And could it be the difference between a defeat and a positive result for Wales? We shall see. And this is where, I suppose, experienced players as well, Gwenan, as well as Gemma Granger on the sideline, will try and get that message through to O'Sullivan. Chin up and don't let this affect you. But Scotland on the front foot now again, as James clears it away. McLaughlin to Weir. Mistakes happen. Important not to dwell on them. Little. McLaughlin. There's a swagger about Scotland now. And Wales doing all the chasing at the moment. Weir. Nice little chip to Little. Good play. Cuthbert again. Out to Weir, who pulls the trigger. And Wales backpedaling here. Well, Roberts with the important clearance, and Harding can perhaps kickstart something for Wales, who have it all to do here, Gwenan.
Yeah, they do, and you can just see the confidence levels of the Scottish players, because they know as well that Wales are going to have to throw more bodies forward at times, so they're going to have more spaces, more opportunities now. But Wales just need to show that experience. There's, you know, so many caps in this team that, you know, the most important time after you've conceded a goal is that next 5 minutes to ensure that you're solid defensively, you're stable, not allowing more opportunities. And what we're seeing again is just Scotland at the minute being able to maintain that pressure on Wales. The attack after attack, as I mentioned before, you know, having a waves of attack that is really difficult to defend against, and it fatigues you.
Lovely play from Weir to Smith. Lovely tackle as well from Tash Harding. Wales are going to dig in here, get themselves out of this situation. Fishlock battling. What a contest between those two number 10s, by the way. Fishlock and Lucy Graham. And it's Wales who get the decision.
Yeah, that has been a really good battle. You know, Fishhook hasn't maybe had the opportunities on the ball as many times as she would have liked to, but every time she has, Graham's been very close around, and she does a really important job in that role for Scotland, because she allows then the creativeness of Little to bomb forward, and Caroline Weir, who likes to try and control the game for Scotland.
Josie Green is down here. I think it is Josie Green, isn't it, if my eyesight serves me correctly?
Yes.
And the medical staff are on, and a chance for a quick drink break for many of the Wales players. Gemma Granger in deep conversation with both Angharad Jameson, Kaylee Green, and there is going to be a change here, Gwen, and it looks as though Esther Morgan about to enter the fray.
Yeah, the youngster won her first cap against Canada and did well. I'm not sure if she'll go straight in. I'd imagine she would, unless Rhiannon Roberts comes in to play the central half role. But Josie Green, as I said, in the first half, she's not actually an out-and-out defender, but she's played well, and she seems to be growing in confidence in that role, because it's a difficult role to play. You need to ensure that, again, your distances between the right back and obviously the left-sided centre half aren't too big. You're not allowing those gaps, and obviously the communication between the two. So if one goes out to press, Cuthbert, who likes to drop into the gap, then the other three, and especially that central defender, needs to ensure that they pull the rest of the defensive line in, make them nice and narrow.
Well, Josie Green back on her feet, but it will be the end of her evening. She's being replaced, and Esther Morgan of Tottenham, as you mentioned there, Gwenan, just 18, but did impress when we saw her at Letchworth in Cardiff against Canada.
Yeah, she did, and she's come on a lot with making a debut season for Tottenham as well, and I know she's one that they're very excited about for the future. So as we've seen, I thought so. She's going to go and play in that right-sided, the right back role, and Rhiannon Roberts will come into then the right-sided central half role.
Ball with Rhiannon Roberts. That's a beautiful ball through to Harding, and Scotland forced all the way back to Alexander. Very direct, but it was brilliantly paced by Rhiannon Roberts. Throw into James. First time cross. Goes out for the goal kick. And Lizzie Arnott about to come on for Scotland. Well, we thought she was, but she's putting her bib back on the sideline. Fishlock trying to close down Smith. Here's Cuthbert, the goal scorer. Lovely play. And here comes the crossfield ball. Looking for McLaughlin. Amazing what a goal can do to confidence. And Brown back to Corsie. Plenty of positives, though, for Gemma Granger, I'm sure, to again take out of this. The bigger picture, of course, is that World Cup qualifying campaign, Gwenan, and perhaps we shouldn't lose sight of that.
Oh no, exactly. The aim of friendlies, obviously you want to be winning those games. You want to win any game that you play, and again as well for points in terms of rankings, to try and get Wales higher up, hopefully into the second pot come the next qualifying campaign. But everything is built towards that first game, and let's not forget this is only her third game in charge, Gemma Granger.
Weir plays it to Little. Could spot the run of McLaughlin. Opts for Weir again. Here is McLaughlin, the substitute. I think Graham thought she was fouled by Kaylee Green there. McLaughlin keeps going and has pulled up. It was a strong challenge in from Carrie Jones. Weir, who was a Scottish player down here, but Caroline Weir's just been in the thick of everything.
Yeah, she's the one. She's the tempo setter for Scotland. You see her come nice and deep to try and to get on the ball in the first half, trying to create something. Everything seems to go through her, and there's no surprise that she's a part of the GB squad. Excited actually to see, there'll be a good balance in that midfield. Excited to see, because I do think that herself and Sophie Ingle are in with a very good chance of starting with the seasons that they've had, and I think they complement each other really, really well. Former teammates as well.
And hopefully the games goes ahead as planned. I know there's been all sorts of speculation about what Tokyo will look like in the midst of this pandemic that we're living under. Amazing that we've managed to play a European Championship at the moment, but it's Cuthbert who's down, and by the way, and Harry James was actually booked for that tackle by the referee, Louise Thompson.
I was about to say beforehand, I think Kaylee Green's been quite lucky to get away with without a yellow so far. She's had a couple of late challenges now in this second half, so just needs to be careful, just try and get that adrenaline level down a little bit.
As Kaylee Green comes across to speak to Gemma Granger. You do get the impression that Gemma Granger knows pretty much in her mind, if not her best 11, but certainly the spine of her team going into this World Cup qualifying campaign now. As we said at the start, it kind of picks itself, the key players that is, but there'll be one or two who are giving Gemma perhaps food for thought.
Yeah, I think some of the players are going to actually have a real fight on to win their place back. We've seen previously maybe that certain players have always started.
It's a lovely pass from James to Harding. Rowe has made the run. Harding goes it alone. Might be worth a shot. Harding! Well, it ricocheted off the head of Rachel Corsie. In fairness, I think it was good defending to put it away for a corner.
Yeah, good positioning by Corsie to get herself in the line there, but promising player, and it's good to see Tash Harding in those areas, being in one-on-one areas where she can drive. We know that she's going to want to come back on her right foot. But if you don't shoot, you don't score, so good to see her having a pop.
Driven in by Rowe. It's another corner. Some of these deliveries have been wicked, whipped in by the Reading player. Still that Cuthbert goal, which is the difference, which was gifted to her. It's to go down as O'Sullivan's error. Wales desperate to get on level terms here. Option of the short corner with James over there. You'll notice Carrie Jones on the edge of the area as well. In it comes towards Gemma Evans, out to Ingle. It's worth a shot. Ingle on the volley. We have seen them.
We certainly have, especially on that left foot as well. She's predominantly a right-footed player, but you'd never guess it. So comfortable, so adept on both feet, and that first touch is what set it. First touch has set it up nicely for her, and good connection, just a lack of accuracy.
Wales is Olympian, future Olympian in Tokyo. Scotland unconventionally again go for the short goal kick.
Yeah, good press by Wales, pressing up high and forcing Scotland into that area again, in a good area of the pitch for Wales.
Ingle forced back to Gemma Evans, and this is one for Green to chase. Well, there's the likes of Anna Philby, Chloe Williams, Elise Hughes, Charlie Escort, all on the bench. Maria Francis-Jones. And as I say that, it looks as though there's going to be quite a few changes made, including, and this is very interesting, in goal. Now, whether this would have been planned before O'Sullivan's mistake, it's a big call, this, from Gemma Granger.
Yeah, it is, but at the end of the day, especially for goalkeepers, they have to earn experience. So, Olivia Clark needs to try and take her opportunity now, because I think what Gemma Granger said when she's come in is that no place is secure. As we said, we have got some that pick themselves, but there is pressure on them now. We've seen the likes of Hayley Ladd is still injured. Josie Green has played well. Is going to put pressure on her coming back into the side. So it's up to Olivia Clark now, who actually used to play cricket, so she's got good coordination skills to put her hand up for a place.
19 years of age, and this her first Wales cap, but in the meantime Wales have to deal with this. Fishlock does so. Ingle took too many touches, and Weir has released Cuthbert. Weir again, it's gone to ground. It is a foul, it is a free kick, and an ideal position this for Scotland.
Yeah, especially when you've got the options there of Kim Little or Caroline Weir. She's got an absolute wand of a left foot. She's controlled this game from start to finish, and we've seen again just how easy it was for her just to skip past, just use the outside of the foot to change direction of the ball, draw in the foul by Sophie Ingle. When you're coming up against players like that, she wants to go back across onto her left foot, but trying to stop her is a different story altogether.
Well, who'd you go with? Little or Weir? I think it's Weir who's standing up to take this, and before that happens, Fiona Brown being replaced by Lizzie Arnott
in her place
of Rangers. Scotland looking to make it 2-0 here, and this will surely be the last piece of action for Laura O'Sullivan as well, as Wales are poised to make changes. Well, Scotland await the referee's whistle. Will we see a bit of magic? It's Weir, straight at the wall, opted for pace and precision perhaps rather than the...
Yeah, commentator's curse. I give her the big build-up. She wasted it.
Yeah, apologies, Caroline. And on that far side, Carrie Jones has gone down. The cramp. And what a moment this is as well for Olivia Clark of Coventry. And also coming in, Georgia Walters has already won 3 caps. So Carrie Jones being replaced, in fact, over on that far side. She won't re-enter the field, and here comes the change. I don't think Laura O'Sullivan has seen the board yet, and she has now. Well, you certainly hope that Laura O'Sullivan's confidence won't be hit by this evening. It was a mistake which gifted Scotland a goal. Gemma Granger has decided to replace her. Good to see from the manager, in fact, just a fist pump. Of course, it can affect confidence, and who knows, maybe that change was planned anyway. Yeah,
it may well have been, but why not give one of the youngsters an opportunity? And they've waited long enough, and they've been in the squad for quite a while now. Olivia Clark and Poppy Soper, so it's good to see them finally get that opportunity. And as I said, it is an opportunity for her if she gets a busy last 15 minutes to put her hand up and take her place, and certainly put pressure on Laura O'Sullivan in that position, because she's been the undisputed #1 for years.
Clark with the first time clearance there. It's a thankless task sometimes being a goalkeeper, because a mistake is almost exaggerated when you're in goal. You can be a midfielder or you can be a striker and you can make a mistake, and it's perhaps not as noticeable as it would be. Yeah,
and I agree, but then at the same time, you can't afford to play dangerously like that. You need to just clear your lines. You can try that in a training game, but not in an international friendly match.
James with the clearance, and here's Kaylee Green. Wales haven't created an awful lot in this second half. First touch for Walters, linking up with Green. Referee, did she play the advantage? We didn't give the foul. Wales play on anyway. Here's Harding. Good tackle by McLaughlin.
Yeah, just a little bit easy to read there. I think we always knew that Tash Harding was going to want to come back on her right-hand side, and that's why it made it easy for McLaughlin then to cut that out. But good to see Georgia Walters being given an opportunity. You know, she's direct. She made an impact. You know, in the last couple of games in the qualifying campaign for the Euros for Wales under Jane Ludlow, and you know, she's waited patiently since for the opportunity, but I'm sure she'll be chomping at the bit now to get a few opportunities running behind and unsettle the Scottish defence as well, who've had barely anything to do in the second half.
It's been a strange baptism of fire for Gemma Granger, taking the job during the most uncertain of times. But she will be looking forward now to September and to this World Cup qualifying campaign. That's when it all gets serious. And it's all about Kazakhstan on September the 17th. Home game to start. Then it's Estonia away. And then 2 games in October as well. Slovenia away, Estonia at home. So that's 4 winnable games. McLaughlin. James to Rowe. James has got space here. Walters. Nice little flick in towards Rowe. Well, Rowe has gone down, and a few players were calling for it. Optimistic claims, perhaps.
I would have just loved to have seen Wales actually just pull the trigger there. Just at times in this second half, when we have been in those areas, we're just trying to play like the old Arsenal and walk into the goal. Just pull the trigger.
Harding, good footwork. Still going, wins the free kick. And before that free kick is taken, it will be Carrie Jones who...
It's Fishlock, it is.
Sorry, it's Fishlock who's receiving a bit of treatment here. I must confess, when that was off the ball, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think it was a head-to-head when they went up for the 50-50. And it's not often, you know, Fishlock comes off second best. Actually, I think it was an elbow to the face. It's actually quite a nasty one.
Well, the medical staff are on, and Fishlock is having a few words with the referee. I think she'll be okay, but just worth a mention, the wonderful work from medical teams, of course, that was brought into light with the awful situation that we saw in the European Championships with Christian Eriksen, of course, who thankfully is, it seems, on the road to recovery. But medical team are absolutely fantastic, weren't they, in that particular incident? And
yeah, they certainly were, and they don't get the credit sometimes because there's so much in the background until things like that happen. But you know, credit as well to the way that the Danish players reacted.
Jess on the sidelines at the moment, just waiting for the call to come back onto the pitch. But crucially for Wales, Gwenan, this is a decent opportunity.
Yes, in inviting area, isn't it? Especially the way Rachel Rowe has been delivering those corners with that pace.
Wales want to get back on level terms. Well, it's Harding who won the free kick, and I think she wants to take it as well. But the way Rachel Rowe, as you say, has been delivering, she can put some real whip on this. And it will be Rachel Rowe. Tries to catch out the goalkeeper. Far too close to Lee Alexander, though.
Yeah, too easy there. You know, it's right in the middle of the goal. Ideally, you'd want to see it go in for the back post. So that it gives an opportunity then for the players to run across. Yeah, and we see plenty of times before, haven't we, where the ball is swinging into the post, but the players running across then have actually distracted the goalkeeper.
Ball is with Ingle. Caroline Weir just seems to have all the time in the world, just created that space. And a free kick to Scotland. Scotland against England this Friday, of course. Huge game in the men's competition, and then Wales tomorrow against Turkey.
I'm sure the Celts will be sticking together for that one. Saying nothing more.
You said that. You said it. Here's Cuthbert, the goal scorer. There are positives tonight. I think Wales can take a few. Hopefully there is still time for an equaliser, but it'll certainly not have been a wasted exercise for Gemma Granger.
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, obviously the manner of the goal is so disappointing. But I think the way Scotland come out in the second half, you know, they were at it from the get-go, as Wales half sleeping in the changing rooms, and Scotland's certainly been the better team in the second half, where it was maybe a bit more balanced in that first half, but plenty to take out of it. Good shape defensively, good performance defensively, and with some half chances again created, but as we always say, just need to be more ruthless, more clinical in the final third.
Ball over the top for Harding. And wins the throw. There may well be time for Wales to get back in this game. They've quickly taken the throw. Fishlock! Oh, just swung a boot at it, and you can see by her reaction that she overhit that. She saw the run of Ingle. Who's your pick for the Euros then, Gwenan? I haven't asked you that yet for Euro 2020.
Oh, well, in school, in my role as form tutor, I did a sweepstake, and I was the fourth one out. I thought there's plenty of options here. North Macedonia. Typical, isn't it? But no, well, it'll be interesting to see the results from tonight's game. Tonight's games, I think France are looking strong. I do think Italy are looking very good. You know, they haven't lost in a lot of games as well, so but those two as my favourites.
Rachel Rowe. Oh, she just couldn't complete the clearance. And it's Scotland who have another chance here. Emsley. By the way, I can tell you that France leading against Germany by a goal to nil. And earlier Portugal beat Hungary 3-0. Cristiano Ronaldo with 2 goals. You can't keep a good man down.
No, I am a big fan of his, so I'm very pleased that he's continued his scoring spree.
Ball down the channel, and this is Arnott up against Roberts. Good skill from Arnott, gets to the line and doesn't quite win the corner. Good footwork though.
Yeah, great feet there, but Rhiannon Roberts did very well, because in that position it's really difficult when you've got someone that has got quick feet and who's doing a lot of step overs. The important thing is just to try and maintain your eyes watching the ball and not the feet, and she did that well. She stood up well actually and forced the error.
Weir. Well, tried the through ball to Arnott, read well by Roberts. Big clearance from James to Walters.
Just need to get players a little bit closer to Walters there when the ball's gone into her. You know, the nearest player is about 15 yards away. She needs to have just a bit more support so that she's got options available to her then.
We've seen flashes from Wales, haven't we? Not quite consistent over the course of the first and second halves of what we've seen so far.
No, and I think that the main things for Wales moving forward was to get a consistent performance over 90 minutes. We've seen it so many times, a 70-minute performance. We're thinking back to the England at home game when we lost 3-0. And also then just trying to do the hardest part of the game, which is get the ball in the back of the net, but create more opportunities as well and make better decisions. James.
And here's Fishlock. And Green, it's opening up for Wales. Green in towards Ingle. Not a bad ball. It's the type of ball that defenders hate, but it was too close to Alexander.
Yeah, it just needed to be whipped across more. I think it was passed across, it was going more towards the front post, isn't it? But if you whip that across instead, it gives Sophie Ingle then, who's made a good run actually across the defender to that front post, gives her a better opportunity to try and get something on it.
Good play from Emsley. Arnott. Roberts there again. Well, similarly, Scotland have a World Cup qualifying campaign to look forward to in September. Their first game away at Hungary. And they will be going into that on a high. Good win against Northern Ireland in Belfast last week, albeit with a very different looking lineup. Fishlock. Morgan's clearance. Wales have the free kick. What have you made of Wales then this evening, Gwenan, on a more general view?
Yeah, pleased with the performance. You know, some aspects that are very good, some aspects that need, again, a lot of improvement. But you can see, you know, what Gemma Granger's trying to do is, as I said, it's only a third game under her, so you know it'll take time to embed everything properly. But I just like the fact that Wales are playing higher up the pitch and trying to get their more technical players on the ball more often. Not many opportunities this evening, but are trying to adopt that style.
We're into added time, 5 minutes of it. Ingle and Fionn Morgan about to come on. Crystal Palace player, 21 years of age. We've seen plenty of her for Wales over recent games. And Kayleigh Green is the player who makes way. Well, 5 minutes to go. Would be a great way to make a name for yourself. Pia Morgan, who is still after her first Wales goal. Ball is with Little. Weir. And there will be another Scottish change in due course. Fishlock with a real ferocious block and even more ferocious gesture towards the assistant referee on that far side. I think she thought the decision should have gone Wales's way.
I think it's just frustration, isn't it, with you know, a few decisions that have gone away. Obviously that elbow into her face as well, and just maybe the fact that she hasn't seen as much as the ball in the areas that she would have liked as many times as she would have wanted this evening.
And the goal scorer, Erin Cuthbert, coming off, no doubt, in her quality. She won't have an easier finish, will she, the Chelsea player? But she's making way, and it is Christy Murray of Birmingham who's coming on. 70th cap for her. Ingle's header. Little up against Fishlock. Ball back to Esther Morgan. Clark. It's been competitive out there. There's been a few choice challenges. Hasn't been a dirty game by any stretch.
Oh, there's been a few tasty challenges in the second half, I'll be honest.
Yeah, there was that incident, wasn't there? With Jess Fishlock, as you said. Good header that, by the way, from Westrup. Well, of the two managers, Stuart McLaren will be the happiest, of course, if it stays like this. But Scotland, in many ways, in transition themselves. They had the Shelley Kerr era. Out to Weir, maybe worth a shot. Ricochets into the path of Harding, and Fishlock is free and the break is on here. She's got Rowe flanking her. Oh, it's a poor pass, uncharacteristic that of Fishlock. It's that sense of frustration you get. Evans. Lost throw of the dice for Wales. Rowe wants to take it quickly. Pia Morgan tried the flick. Well, Scotland at times have had to control the game when things haven't been going their way, and with the likes of Weir and Little, as you say, Gwenan, they've done that superbly at times.
Yeah, and Lucy Graham in there as well has played very well.
McLaughlin. Well, who stood out from a Welsh point of view for you, Gwenan?
I think I'd have to say in the first half, I think Carrie Jones was outstanding, considering it's her first start. It's only her second cap at the age of 17. I thought she was really tenacious in defence, disciplined in a position, won the ball back, turned the ball over for Wales quite a few times, and was good, neat and tidy on the ball.
Free kick to be taken by Olivia Clark. Graham. What a tough battle it's been between her and Jess Fishlock. And as the ball clears into this part of the stand where we're sitting, I can see...
That's how you clear a ball.
I could see Gwenan Harris tensing those neck muscles to try and head the ball back into play there.
No, I wouldn't have headed it. I wasn't very good at heading. I would have controlled that with my foot instead.
Lovely ball from James. And here's Harding. Last chance for Wales. That's not a bad ball. That was a fantastic ball, in fact, and such a shame that Fionn Morgan couldn't get on the end of it.
Oh, that is a superb ball in by Tash Harding. I think it just caught Fionn Morgan and Georgia Walters by surprise. But as forwards, you have to be busting the gut. You have to be attacking the post there. Really wanted to score, put your body on the line, and both of them just a little bit hesitant.
That's it, Scotland win, and Wales will now look forward to September and the start of their World Cup qualifying campaign against Kazakhstan. There's no getting away from it. It was a gift of a goal for Erin Cuthbert, given to her by Laura O'Sullivan, the goalkeeper, who was then substituted. As an exercise, Gemma Granger will have learnt a lot, but a disappointing result nonetheless.
Yeah, of course, any game that you play, you want to come away with a victory. And the manner of the goal as well, the way we conceded the goal, is probably the most disappointing thing. Frustration, really, after a promising first half. But I would say, Scotland was definitely in control of the dominant team, especially in that second half.
It's all over in Llanelli. From Gwenan Harris and from me, Simon Davies, thank you for your company. It's finished in Llanelli in this international friendly. Wales 0, Scotland 1.